I had one specific Bitcoin miner model. It's the most efficient air-cooled miner model in the world. Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get 2 more. Got 3, throw them on a shelf. We just got these new mining containers in. They fit 3 miners per shelf. I'm like, that'd be sweet. Then we've been grinding out here, expanding the mining farm, and I was like, F it, I'll take 5 more. Bam, $30,000 later, and a whole lot of hash rate. We're expanding the mine farm. I'm Vosk, you're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. Check these things out. Actually still, one's on the way. So one of them is actually missing, and obviously there's more than I just talked about. I had additional miners that I wanted to put in there. So that's a digital shovel, Nanopod. We went up to Canada, checked those out, and we came home with one. Incredible opportunity, very fun trip. And they're so easy to deploy on single phase. I basically just ran 400 amps to it. 2 200 amp lines from a 400 amp disconnect. Bam, I'm hot, and I can deploy 27 S21s or other miners. You actually need a little bit more electricity to do that. That's based on the racking in there. But I'm pretty much going to deploy 20 something S21 XPs and some other Bitcoin and crypto mining rigs in that machine, or in that piece of equipment. So it's exciting, it's fun, it's stressful. This is tripling down. I've already spent a lot of money out here on the farm. You can see that I'm finishing up pulling wire. I'm expanding the electrical capabilities so I can basically run more miners in there. I also, oh yeah, I got 2, man. I got 2 of these. So 400 amps is going to each of them, which means that I can run about 24 miners per nanopod, and then I'm running about 48 miners worth of electricity into the mini pod, which is that thing over there. And I've already got the Immersion mining shed, which was the gray shed, all maxed out with liquid cooled. But this generation of Bitcoin miners, they're not doing too great with liquid cooling. So these things are really cool. If you're a subscriber, which means you're awesome, I've kind of been talking about these a lot lately, but they're new, they're fun, they're exciting. So I'll just give you a quick tour. 3 intake vents on each side. We got attacked by a mouse, ruined the filters, so that's gonna cost me like 300 bucks. That sucks. They install PDUs, one on the right side, one on the left side, 6 exhaust fans there on the back side, Ethernet switch up there. So I'm gonna run an Ethernet cable in right through there. Power is going to get pulled through here, tap into the bus bar, consult electrician, all that stuff. And you can see the racking here, shelving, it's all adjustable. So it's really exciting. This is a big milestone for me because the mining farm was basically at 4, do you say peta or petahash? Like you personally, is it 1 petahash, 1 petahash? Okay, we're gonna call it peta today, like the bread. So I basically have been at about 4 petahash for a while, and before that 3 petahash was a big milestone. And one day I deployed a whole petahash of mining power with S19s, which that was basically 10 miners back then. But now you can deploy well over 1 petahash with 4 of the current big generation Bitcoin miners, depending which one you use, like the S21 XP, for example. Out of the box, it's doing 270 terahash a second. I have mine slightly overclocked, and I'm actually doing about 290 terahash a second for probably an extra 50 to 100 watts of electricity, which if you think about how much electricity I'm spending, for our say again, 20 terahash per second on a device I already have, that's actually really exciting, really crazy, and it actually gets my efficiency down. It varies, but the efficiency seems to bounce between 12.5 watts per terahash or joules per terahash to 13. It sounds like really technical if you're newer to this, but that's like saying the MPG. Like I'll get 30 MPG, I get 40 MPG. We're both spending a gallon of gas, but the car with better MPG is going farther for the same amount of money. I am mining more Bitcoin for the same amount of electricity with a lower cost per watt or joule, a measurement of energy per terahash, or terahash is the Bitcoin mining power, akin to say like horsepower. So anyway, it's been sitting at 4 for a while, and plugged a couple of those miners in. I jumped straight to 5, and now I'm bouncing off the charts over 6 petahash, and this is terrible. This is like probably one of the worst things I could have done. Let me tell you, I'm thinking about 10. I'm thinking about 10 petahash. I'm looking at it, I'm eyeballing it, I'm making this. Can't see maybe because these tinted glasses. I'm making these like making those eyes at it. This is a bit more than they actually earn per day right now, but the S21 XPs basically pull 15 bucks a day. This is one of the lowest hash prices in history, and hash price is basically like how much you pay for some hash rate to mine Bitcoin. So in recent history, this is actually statistically, like based on data, not FOMO, one of the best times to buy a Bitcoin miner. You know, looking at stuff like that, looking at my mining farm expansion, looking at my personal time, I'm having just a little bit of capital left to burn. I was like, another one, another one. Fill me up, Scotty.
Another one, another one, another one, another one. Another one, and another one.
Today's video is made possible by Margex. So with Margex, you can trade with leverage, which remember, this is expert level trading, although anyone can go sign up and do it. Make sure you understand that when you trade with leverage, if you lose your position, you're not just down a little bit. Your collateral is wiped out. You can trade all kinds of different cryptocurrencies on here. You could long Bitcoin. You could short Ethereum. So for example, here I'm on an isolated 30x 100% sell, which is basically a short here, right? So I would be selling $18,000 worth of Ethereum due to the 30x leverage while only utilizing 0.0067 0.00667 BTC. This is basically a bet that Ethereum is going down. So if it pumps, then I'll lose all of this coin. What do you think about this trade? Let me know down in the comments and check them out with the link down in the video description below. Should I take my money and run? I'm already up 16 bucks. Could also go to sleep and get liquidated.
And so this is once again my bet on Bitcoin. I think buying Bitcoin is so boring, and I probably would have made more money if I just bought Bitcoin at certain times. Other times that would not be true, not be the case. But you know, my end game is pay off the miners, pay off the mining farm too at this point. Just spent $50,000 to expand the damn thing. And maybe I'm just a professional money spender at this point, jeez. Then get some solar running out here. I don't know if it's realistic for me. I don't know, I don't have enough capital to zero out my whole mining farm's electricity bill. But what I could do is go to each array and get my effective cost per kilowatt hour down. So, you know, I'm paying like 7.5 cents per kilowatt hour out here at the farm for most of my electric services and eventually all of my electrical services. And I could add an array to it, and I need to crunch the numbers and really bring the data. But let's just say, you know, I spend, I don't know what it'll be, $30,000, $40,000, and I effectively reduce my cost per kilowatt hour to say 5 cents, 6 cents, which would have astronomical returns long term. Gear that doesn't look too exciting at 7, 8, 10 cents per kilowatt hour can actually have some pretty impressive returns if you're only paying 5 cents per kilowatt hour. And I think eventually, instead of forever upgrading and upgrading and upgrading, I might ramp some of this stuff down, and I could just run some like ancient gear when the sun's up and just consolidate so I'm not stuck in a perpetual loop. New Bitcoin machine, upgrade, got to change this and that to make it possible. New Bitcoin machine, upgrade, e-waste. Yeah, I don't know, you could talk about it for hours and hours, but that's kind of where my head's at. You know, I want there to be some sort of end to this road. Nice try, B. I say that, but like I can't stop doing stuff and tinkering with stuff, and I don't know anyone personally who opens as many dang projects as I do. I never have spare time. I don't know what boredom is, and I don't really care to know. I was bored when I was constricted as a kid and caged up at school. I honestly had a lot of fun in school, but it had nothing to do with the actual school. And that doesn't mean that all I did was mess around. It's boring. The whole school system is designed to make you a cog in the machine. The elites need a class to rule. That's what they designed all this stuff for. So I'm pretty excited. I'm a little stressed. You know, I'm not nervous. I believe in this stuff. But like also at some point, it's like I'm tired of spending money and the bank account just goes down, and I'm still in the mine and hold strategy. I mine coin, I hold coin, I bleed electricity. Look, I'll be honest, can the devs do something?
Can't take this anymore, man. I have overinvested by a lot.
What do you think though? Do you think I'm making the right moves? Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think that this is gonna lead me to true financial freedom? Or am I going to retrace the money I've made by basically working all day, every day for to be frank, most of my adult life, man, I had jobs in my youth. Sometimes I wonder if people subscribe to VoskCoin just to see, is that maniac gonna make it or not? Is he gonna become rich? Is he gonna bust? Double down one too many times? It's been a lot of fun doing immersion mining, but for now, I'm done with it. The current generation of machines do not run well in immersion mining. If you need to take a machine out of immersion, it's nasty, it's a pain. My B6D is broken, and I've been waiting months for a replacement fan, to the point that I actually just moved almost all of the miners in it. One got left behind to a different immersion mining solution. And you know, my electric on that service is maxed out. All those things are kind of compounding. That's old generation hardware. You know, all that stuff in there is running 20 to 30 watts per terahash. And current generation stuff is doing, you know, 13 to 16 and a half is like the average. So everything's pretty much twice as efficient. It's a pretty big jump. I've been surprised how much better the newer machines are across the board from many manufacturers. And the S21s, in particular the Pros, and I heard also the XPs are awful in immersion, so don't do that. I ran S21 Pro in immersion, broke it. I ran 2 S21s in immersion, broke them. Broke one on air cooling. And I have an underclocked T21 that's been running fine in there, but to be honest, I think it's because it's underclocked, and it just kind of, and then basically it's just within the tolerance for it. It's good enough. This isn't some kind of hidden ad or anything. I've reviewed Braiins stuff before, and they've sent us some stuff to review, like their mini miner and stuff like that. So, you know, I always try to like just be transparent. I can't help but develop relationships in the space through the years just by being here and doing stuff all the time. But they did not pay me to say this. I simply just wanted to check it out. But when I threw Braiins OS on my S21 XP, it went from 270 terahash to 290 terahash. And I can assure you that that was very exciting. And then I'm looking at the power draw, and I'll be honest, I need to pull it off and measure it, you know, at the wall and double check all this stuff. But in my experience, the dashboard's always been accurate, and it's pulling about the same power up to 100 watts more with their auto tuner. So I'm getting 12.5 to 13 watts per watts per terahash of efficiency in there. To basically have these machines that are nearly running at 300 terahash a second is so appealing, engaging, exciting. And their footprint, although these are big, these are bigger than the S21s or the XPs of the S21 series by Bitmain, the Antminers, all this, so many names and all this stuff. I do this all the time, and I get it because I do it all the time, but like, I understand like it is confusing. So I'm not trying to run through everything too fast, and it just kind of sucks to watch the video. But my point is, for the footprint of basically one large but relatively normal miner size, to get nearly 300 terahash a second with best-in-class efficiency, it's interesting. However, the S21 series has been problematic and unreliable for me, so I'm worried, I'm a little stressed about that aspect of getting more of these. However, my XP in particular has been fine for a couple months, so we'll see. I also recently diversified and added a bunch of Canaan Avalon miners to the farm. My Canaan 1566, basically the 1500 series or the latest generation, has been fantastic. Their immersion model is so fucking cool and also runs on single phase, where Bitmain's immersion specific models only run on 3-phase due to the power supply and the other design choices that they made with that machine. I also ordered a BitDeer Seal Miner A2, but the order was canceled. But now they're apparently getting that batch out in stock, shipping, so I'll probably just try to turn around and get one and just check it out. The efficiency isn't all that exciting. It's 16.5, and I'm really tired of shitcoin mining, like Radiant mining, bad returns. Castle mining, if you bought miners at the wrong time, bad returns. Alpha mining, obliterated a $30,000 machine because the returns are trash. You look at Alio mining, it's looking like it's going to be the next Alpha. All the same manufacturers pumping out machines for it, high prices. The bottom line is, like, people have been getting wrecked with altcoin mining. Historically, first batch buyers always made money back and then some, but that's been disproven recently. Not only does it not pay, it actually costs to be first. And I've always been really bullish with new releases, ordering miners out of pocket. Sometimes, yes, we do get them in to review for free. Other times, ordering them out of pocket or bartering, basically advertising on the channel and services and things like that. Here's the deal. I was getting wrecked left and right to the point that I would be rolling in cash, or better yet, Bitcoin. If I had allocated all those resources to efficient Bitcoin mining or Dogecoin mining. Dogecoin mining has outperformed, even with the huge drawback in price. The machines are still very lucrative, to the point that all I'm thinking about moving forward is Bitcoin, some Dogecoin. I mean, come on, I got Tail. She's a freaking Shiba Inu, and I had her before I got into all this stuff, so I'm not some weird clout chasing dude that wanted to shave because I saw it on a coin. If you know anything about Shiba Inus, they're an incredibly cool breed. I also used to live in a tiny home. I finished a shed because I had no elsewhere to live. Damn. 10, 15 years ago, so it's the equivalent of like living in an apartment, and I didn't think it was fair to get a big dog at that period. I knew that we had a turbulent life ahead of us. I mean, we moved like 5 times since then. But I still got my super cutie pup with me, our SCP. We run 10 seconds of tails on every video. Again, hey, I'm Vosk. You're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel. Hope you like the content. Hope you subscribe. Got another video breaking down everything I'm doing with the expansion, why, how. And I'm here to open source my mining farm, my mining journey, much like Bitcoin's open sourced. And I hope other people get out there, decentralize the network, make these coins anti-fragile, especially Bitcoin, more valuable than ever. Working on some cool node content. So running nodes, running miners, there's nothing more valuable you could do. And if you're not a mineable coin, you're just a shit coin. I dare say it's security. Ooh, I hope that hurts your feelings. I meant it too. Well, I'm gonna hop in my DD and I'll see you on the next